Siege is one of the hardest games to learn right now, and with the majority of players being in high silver to low gold, you need to know which operators to play for your rank so that you can rank up faster. With that being said, we have our first rank, Copper. Now, the 5 attackers I think you need to play in Copper are Ashe, Ace, Sledge, Thatcher, and Finka. Now, let me break all of these down for you. Ashe is a very simple operator. If you want to learn what primary and secondary utility are in a very simple way that makes sense, Ashe's ability is very easy to use with some of the best weapons in the entire game. She's very forgiving because of how easy she is to use, and you can get a lot of kills with her. Next, we have Ace. Ace is one of the best solo queue hard breachers in the game because you can use him on almost every single wall and almost every single site. He also has one of the best guns and scopes in the entire game right now, so it doesn't really matter if you're using utility correctly because you can get kills to back it up as well, which is something that you need to learn how to do. Sledge is arguably the easiest operator in the entire game to learn, so starting out with him is a no-brainer for most Copper players. Thatcher's a great operator to learn. Now, if he's not being banned in almost every single ranked game, when you play Thatcher, you'll learn the importance of pairing up with a hard breach to get a wall open, which is something very important to learn in Siege very early on. And finally, we have Finka. Now, the thing about Finka is, yes, she isn't seen as good, especially in higher rank. So when you're in a lower rank and people aren't hitting heads as often, HP can be the difference between you winning or losing a gunfight. Not only this, but if you're in Copper, chances are either you're really losing hard or you're absolutely slamming them. And Finka is really good for rushes in case you're slamming the enemy team, so learning how to utilize utility to help you and your team rush whenever it's needed, and also learning how to revive people with Finka's ability when people aren't getting one-shot headshotted in a low rank is pretty important. Now, Copper is the worst of the worst players, and if you're watching this video, the average player is around silver, like I said, so you're probably not in that rank, which brings me on to my next rank, Bronze. Now, the best 5 attackers that I recommend playing if you are a Bronze player is Jackal, Buck, Thermite, Hibana, and Nomad. Now, Jackal, if he's not being banned again in every single ranked game, you need to learn how to play, because roam clearing is one of the most important phases of the attack that you need to start learning, which is why I put him pretty early on this list. Now, with the rise of Dokkaebi being banned more than she ever has before, you can actually sneak in a few Jackal games here and there, so playing Jackal is actually going to get you used to roam clearing in a very efficient way. The next operator is Buck. Now, Buck is a great flex operator, and I want to teach you how to start playing vertically on sites very early on. Buck is also good at getting kills because of his good gun and the ability to make himself rotate and flash grenades, and he can also get hard breaching charges. So if you want to learn how to play a flex operator and start using utility to get kills, Buck is the perfect operator to do so. He also only costs 10k renown to unlock, so if you want to start playing an operator that teaches you a bit more utility side of the game, Buck is the perfect operator to do it. Because Ace is cool to learn whenever you start learning the game, but Thatcher is even more important because the size of the breach sometimes matter, and the speed at which you do breach the wall matters a lot more, especially if you're pairing up with a Thatcher to counter a Cade or a Turbo, which is something that's very meta right now, so I want to teach you early on to play Thermite in Bronze. Speaking of hard breachers, the next operator is Hibana. Now, the reason I put Hibana on this list is because, like I said, we want to start learning how to play vertically, and Hibana gets hatches vertically very well, better than all of the other hard breachers in this list. So playing Hibana very early on is something that can be very rewarding if you start playing them in Bronze. And then the final operator is Nomad. Now, Nomad is a great flank watch operator, and most people in Bronze don't have the brains to counter a Nomad because they don't know that you can just sneak up to the air jab and shoot it 9 times out of 10. So Nomad is actually the best flank watch operator in Bronze, and you need to learn how to start flank watching very early on, because I guarantee you one of the most prevalent defenders in your rank is Caveira, so having Nomad can help you greatly counter that operator. Now, the next rank is going to be Silver. For the 5 operators I have you playing in Silver, you're going to be playing Zero, Twitch, Yana, IQ, and Zofia. Now, Zero again is in the same vein as Nomad in terms of flank watch, but Zero teaches a very important thing, which is getting on cameras and being patient. Now, it's one thing to be a flank watch operator, but it's another thing to watch cutoff cameras, and Zero is just an operator with glorified cutoff cameras. If you have the patience to watch cutoff cameras, then you'll have the patience to play Zero, because Zero does a lot more than just bring glorified cutoff cameras. So it's very important that you learn that skill early on, especially with it being very powerful against, like I said earlier, flanking operators like Caveira. The next operator is Twitch. Now, Twitch is an operator that brings a unique ability drone, and you need to start learning how to use unique ability drones. The reason you need to start learning how to use these is because there are 3 in the game. There's Brava, Flores, and Twitch. And you need to start learning to be sparing with these drones and when to use each drone properly so that you don't just run them into the building and get them killed. It's very important that you learn this early on. Now, there are a lot of people playing Fenrir in Silver, due to the fact that the majority of the players are in Silver, so the ranked meta kind of shifts towards that rank. Being able to counter Fenrir and Goyo, which is another common Silver operator with Twitch, is very important. Also learning how to use Twitch's DMR is important too, because currently we're in a pretty DMR-sided meta right now, so learning a DMR early on is very important. The next operator is Yana. Now, you might notice a theme here that I'm giving you information operators, because information is wildly important in Rainbow Six Siege, and Silver is the perfect time to learn how to utilize it properly. Now, if you're an entry fragger, then Yana is the perfect operator to teach you to still gain information, but still have that entry frag playstyle. The next operator is IQ, another information operator. Now, the special thing about IQ is you can counter Fenrir with IQ pretty easily. If you want to start going below and playing vertically, or maybe you want to counter Fenrir and Valkyrie, IQ is the perfect operator to learn how to do it. She's also a 3-speed if you still want to get kills, so she's in the same vein as Yana. The final operator, like I said earlier, is Zofia. Now, Zofia is a great operator if you want to start learning how to play support with a good gun, which Zofia does perfectly. She has 2 stuns and 2 breaches, so if you want to learn how to clear utility out with an operator that can still get kills, Zofia is the perfect operator for you to play. She brings so much utility and is so reliable, and people still quite aren't hitting heads that often, that having a 3 armor with a bunch of utility is great if you want to learn how to play the utility side of the game more than the run and gun side of the game like you would have with Yana. Moving on to the next most common rank, we have Gold, and the 5 attackers you should start playing the most are Maverick, Osa, Flores, Brava, and Dokkaebi. Now, Maverick is important because once you get to this rank, you'll start to see the use of the Cade and Turbo trick on a wall, and Maverick is one of the best counters to play to counter this current meta. Not only this, but just getting down the 4 basic card breachers in the game to a T is very important in the early ranks. We've already gone over Ace, we've already gone over Thermite and Hibana, so the only one left was Maverick, so I had to put him at least a little early in Gold on this list. The next operator is Osa. With Osa, you learn a very important lesson, holding sightlines. Now, typically, sightlines are dominated by defenders, because that's just how the game works. Defenders hold angles and attackers swing them. But Osa is one of the few operators that can turn defender sightlines into attacker sightlines. She also introduces the need for secondary EMP grenades, which is something you need to start learning how to use, especially the higher in the ranks that you go. The next operator is Flores. Now, you want to start learning Flores because everyone is playing Azami, especially the higher ranks you go, and Flores is a great counter to Azami as long as they don't have mute. Now, I said earlier that learning primary drone operators is important, which is why I put Twitch on this list, and it's the exact reason that I put Flores on this list too. And while we're on that vein, it's exactly why I put Brava on this list. Brava is a great counter to Fenrir, which is the second most played operator second to Azami that is really good right now. Now, Fenrir is banned a lot, but on the off chance that Fenrir isn't banned and you see that they're playing Fenrir, I would definitely recommend second picking to Brava in the prep phase. This is because it teaches you the importance of not only how to hack utility, but it teaches you what utility is important to hack, and therefore what utility is more important to destroy and prioritize destroying in general, so that you can do it with any operator that's able to destroy utility. Now, the final operator is Dokkaebi. Now, if Dokkaebi isn't banned in your games, learning how to play Dokkaebi is crucial, because chances are Jackal's going to be banned in a lot of your games. So still, you need to be learning how to roam clear properly, and if you can't do it with Jackal, you should start doing it with Dokkaebi. You use her calls to roam clear, and then you use the phones to get cameras. If you do this, you'll also learn the importance of counter intel, which is something that isn't really important until you get about into the rank Gold. But once you've gotten from Gold, your next rank should be Platinum, and the 5 operators I recommend you play in Plat is Gridlock, Lion, Ace, Ram, and Buck. Now, Gridlock, I think, is one of the best flank watch operators in the game, and I think Gridlock is arguably better than Nomad the higher ranks you go, because there's just way too many counters to Nomad that are effortless for defenders right now, especially with Solus being on the board, that it just makes sense to play Gridlock more times than not. It teaches you the importance of using smoke grenades for executes on the site, and Gridlock's utility for executes on the site, but it also teaches you the importance of versatility. Gridlock can bring frag grenades or EMP grenades. She can bring a super shorty. Her AR or LMG is also very good. So learning how to tailor make your loadout to counter the defensive strategy is something that Gridlock teaches you very well. The next operator is Lion. Now, I would have put Lion earlier, but the thing about Lion is Lion only becomes really good once you start to learn how to actually have game sense and use Lion properly, which is why I stuck him in the mid ranks, like Platinum. Lion also teaches the same thing that Gridlock teaches, versatility. You have an AR or a DMR, and like I said, DMRs are pretty meta, so I thought I'd stick him in Plat as well. The next operator being Ace. Now, like I said, Ace is one of the best solo queue hard breachers in the game, so if you see Ace in any of the ranks, just know that that's why. Platinum is a fast rank, gunfight heavy rank, so Ace naturally as a hard breacher is just going to be the best in this rank. The final operator is Buck. Now, as Buck, you'll start to learn that playstyle versatility is a thing, and you need to learn to adapt to the current situation at hand. You need to learn when to be aggressive, and you need to learn when to start playing vert, and you need to learn when to be support, and you need to learn when to start droning. And as Buck, because you're a flex operator, you'll be doing all four throughout the round, and you need to learn when to do each four, which is why playing Buck will help you learn how to flex properly. Moving on from Platinum, the next rank is Emerald. Now, Emerald, the 5 operators that you should really start playing is Ashe, Brava, Lion, Osa, and Gridlock. Now, we've gone through all of these operators time and time again, but the reason that these 5 operators are specifically important to Emerald is because you're actually in a high rank now, which means you need to start playing meta operators that will get you to the next rank. Ashe is one of the best entry fraggers right now because she counters Mira, who's very prevalent, and Maestro, who just got buffed. Not only this, but she's a 3-speed with 2 amazing weapons, so everyone's going to be playing her, so when you learn how to play her, you can learn how to rush and how to utilize her utility properly. The second operator being Brava. Fenrir's on the board, I don't really need to say much about that. The next operator is Lion. Now, Lion again is making it on the list for the same reason that Lion made it on the Plat list. You just need to learn how to start using game sense and map knowledge to your advantage in order to really mess up the defenders. The next operator is Osa. Now, Osa isn't actually for the same reason on Emerald as she was on Gold. Now, Osa's a great operator because she brings EMP grenades, and 9 times out of 10 Thatcher is going to be banned when Turborao and Cade are both on the table. So you need to start learning how to utilize EMP grenades to stop the Cade and Turborao trick, which is something that's actually pretty hard to do. So utilizing Osa to do this not only gives you EMP grenades, but a powerful operator that you can use if the EMP grenades don't work out. And then finally, we have Gridlock, for the exact same reason as Osa. 1, you need to learn how to use EMP grenades, but 2, it's also a versatile operator that you can use as backup in case the EMP grenades don't work out, and it also happens to be just a great operator in general. Now, we're getting into the highest ranks in the game, the best of the best players. We have Diamond. The operators I recommend you play in Diamond is Ying, Maverick, Dokkaebi, Thermite, and Buck. Now, we've got some weird ones here. First of all, we have Ying. I think Ying is the most underrated attacker in the entire game, and with every Warden main being off-site and people not really picking Wamai and Jaeger as much, Ying is actually very meta. And the most amount of teams that have been winning at SI right now, the professional players, have been using Ying the most they've ever used Ying in the past 2 years, because they notice that the playstyle that comes with Ying naturally just counters the meta that is going on currently, which is just Azami, Fenrir, Turborao, Cade, Valkyrie. It's still pretty early into the season, so this is subject to change, but I would start testing out how to play Ying now, so that when you get into champ and you start going against those pro league players and those meta operators, you'll know how to play her very well. The next operator is Maverick. Again, Turborao Cade, very common in this meta, so you need to learn not only how to play Maverick, but master Maverick, specifically in Diamond, so that again, when you get into champ, you'll have it down. The next operator is Dokkaebi. Dokkaebi is absolutely broken right now, and if you're not picking Dokkaebi on your team every chance you get, you're actually putting yourself at a disadvantage. She is that good, I really don't have to say much more. The next operator is Thermite. Now, the reason that I picked Thermite over Ace in Diamond is because Thermite actually is easier to stop the Cade Turborao counter than Ace is, because 1 Thermite explosion is actually faster than 2 Ace explosions. And then the final operator is Buck. Buck overall is just pretty versatile, and in terms of flex operators, he is the best in the market right now. The ability to also go under or above that Cade and Turbo will make it a lot easier for your Thermite, Maverick, or Thatcher to get that wall open. So learning Buck now so that when you get into champ you can play him is very important. Now I've been talking about playing operators now and then again learning them so that you can play them in champ, but now we're in champ. So who are the 5 best operators you should be playing in champ? Well, there's some weird ones, but hear me out. We have Ying, Maverick, Ace, Yana, and Grim. Now, Ying, again, same exact reason. I think Ying is very meta, and people are going to start playing her a lot more, so I think you should too, and get ahead of that curve of people that haven't really discovered her potential yet. Maverick, same reason. By now, you've mastered how to counter the Turbo and Cade trick, so keep playing it and keep abusing it. Ace, I think, specifically is good, better than Thermite, because, again, you're not really gonna have a lot of teammates that are playing with you in Champion due to the oversaturation of champions in the Champion rank. Typically, people are champions, so they have the ego the size of the sun, so they're just rushing in, and a hard breacher that can match that fast-paced energy is really good, especially if they have a gun that can back up the fraggish playstyle that they'll need to whip out when their teammates are doing nothing but running in. If you want to interchange this with Thermite, though, I wouldn't blame you. Then we have Yana. Now, I think Ashe is cool, but I think Yana is a bit better because the lack of information that's going on the attack right now is something that needs to be talked about. Attackers really have to not waste any time, and that includes getting information, because Turbo and Cade slow down the meta so much, not to mention Fenrir and Izami, so attackers don't really have a lot of time to get information. Someone that can quickly get information, though, is Yana, so I think she's one of the best entry fraggers in the game right now, and with flash grenades to better help the entry frag playstyle, she's even better. And then we have Grim. Now, I know this is such a weird one, but I want you to hear me out. Grim is going through the same thing that Ying is going through right now. A lot of teams are picking up Grim, a lot of Pro League teams, and that means a lot of ranked players in Champion are also starting to pick up Grim. Grim right now is honestly just a better version of Capitao. You get the general information that you need to get with a launcher that is a little bit more forgiving and a gun that's even more forgiving, and you can start to make plays. Now in Champion, people have a lot of mics, and they actually know a little bit of Pro League strats, maybe even meta strats, so using Grim because of the Pro League strats and meta strats that Grim is starting to put forth can actually be not only meta, but solo queue friendly and very effective moving forward. If you are gonna leave hate comments for me in the comment section about Grim, then you're the exact people that I'm talking about that don't know about Grim and Ying's potential yet, but you'll learn soon, I'll have faith. But with that out of the way, my name's Alka, check out this next video, and I hope I'll see you there. Later.